Welcome back to the Body Mass YouTube page. Those of you guys who've been here before know me. I'm Virginia, I'm one of the owners here at Body Mass. But over the past year and a half, I've kind of been following along my competition prep journey of switching from the figure division over to the bikini division. And for those of you guys who watched the last video, now know I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus this year in 2021 from competing because I'm pregnant. So tomorrow marks 19 weeks, so I'm just about halfway there. 20 weeks marks the halfway point of pregnancy. So I've kind of transitioned from the first trimester, as you guys kind of learned a little bit about in the last video, to now being in the second trimester. And as most people say, the second trimester, you start to feel a lot better, and it's very true for me. If you guys kind of caught it before, I didn't necessarily get super sick the way some people do during pregnancy, especially in the first trimester, but I didn't feel super great. There were certain things like coffee kind of grossed me out, which is so abnormal for me. And they're like just eating my quote unquote normal way of high protein, high veggie diet was just kind of unappealing. As I moved into the second trimester, my hormones have kind of balanced out a little bit more. I definitely can handle a little bit more of kind of what I would consider my normal diet. So kind of eating back at normal. I'll have a cup of coffee in the morning, which I'm kind of glad to go back to almost the ritual of having a cup of coffee in the morning. I'm still eating waffles for breakfast because I really like waffles. And then throughout the day, you know, before the thought of a salad would kind of gross me out. But in the last several weeks, I'll do a salad from Sweet Leaf or Sweet Green and protein and veggies that I'll either make at home or I'll grab somewhere else. At this point, I don't know if a lot of people have cravings in their second trimester. I don't really have cravings. I eat a lot of ice cream, but even if I weren't pregnant and I was not competing, I would still be eating a lot of ice cream, so I wouldn't necessarily consider that a craving. That's just kind of me and the things I like. One of the biggest things that I've noticed in second trimester is primarily with my workouts. So first trimester, I kind of, my goal was literally to just stay in a routine, to physically go to the gym, and sometimes I would kind of sit on a foam roller for 20 minutes and then do a couple halfway sets of some exercises and call it a day. I just wanted to do something. I didn't have a lot of structure with what I was doing because every day was kind of hit or miss with how I was feeling. But I still wanted to kind of keep the routine and habit of going to the gym. Even though Chris, my husband, and I own 2 Body Mass locations, I don't typically work out at Body Mass. I prefer to go to a different gym. Number 1, for a change of scenery. Number 2, kind of gets me out of my normal routine of being at Body Mass all day long. But number 3, it kind of gives me more of a structured framework for my workout. So in first trimester, I wanted to keep that structured framework and just physically go to the gym. But now in the last several weeks, I felt so much better at the gym and lifting and getting into more of my normal routine. I've gotten back into some of my bigger lifts again. I've been bench pressing. I've done squats a few times. I've done deadlifts, overhead pressing, pendlay rows. So some of the bigger lifts that I kind of left out during first trimester just because I wasn't feeling great. So I've added those back in. I've added in a lot of accessory work. So overall, I'm feeling pretty strong, pretty good when I'm at the gym. So here's some of the workouts I've kind of been doing second trimester.
Took a bite, and now I'm filled up. I don't know where you are tonight. Cause you're right, I've been starving and now I don't know what to do tonight. But I've been feeling like you're pretty easy to like when your body is closer to mine. You got me feeling like there's no one other than you who can make me lose my mind. You start me up.
If you guys follow me on Instagram, you may have seen a post I did recently about a leg day in second trimester. Posted that a little while ago. One of the biggest changes I've noticed in my body is I'm naturally somebody who's pretty straight, so I don't have wide hips at all. And part of pregnancy is your body releases more of the hormone elastin to kind of help physically prepare your body structurally to carry a baby and give birth. So a big thing that I've noticed with that increase in elastin is more movement in the ligaments that surround my hips. So in my SI joint, if you're not familiar with that, that's your sacroiliac joint. It's kind of in the back near your tailbone. It's where your kind of tailbone and pelvis meet. But that's been an area where I've noticed a lot of instability. So it's not painful, it doesn't hurt, but it's definitely something that I have to think about, especially now that I feel better lifting a little bit heavier. But it forces me to have to focus a little bit more on stabilizing my pelvis through a lot of movement, which is a good thing to do anyways. So I have to concentrate a little bit more on engaging through my pelvic floor, my adductors, my hamstrings, my glutes, versus just kind of like going through a movement when my body feels okay. You know, I can kind of get away with just going through a movement without actually focusing super hard on what I'm engaging. But I think that's an important thing for anybody who's lifting. Obviously, it's especially important now because I'm lacking that stability in my hips and in my SI joint. But I've liked kind of having to shift my focus a little bit. So every workout, talking specifically lower body now, I've been trying to do lower body twice a week. Every workout that I do, I try to incorporate some type of a unilateral or a single leg movement, whether it's a single leg press, a split squat, a single leg deadlift, but something that's gonna force me to have to isolate that stability a little bit more. And I've really enjoyed doing that and kind of thinking about my lifting a little differently. It's not just about hypertrophy or growing the muscle, but it's a little bit more about the mechanics of the movement, which I like. The other thing that's a little bit strange during my workouts, and I know those of you guys who've been pregnant before are probably like laughing at me right now since I'm only 19 weeks, but is my stomach is physically starting to grow. I mean, if you guys lounging on the couch, but if you guys look at me, like it's there, but it's definitely not like a full out pregnancy belly, but it's definitely something that I'm not used to. So things like Romanian deadlifts, when I hinge over, my belly physically like kind of hits my thighs, and it's just something that limits my range of motion, so the movement's a little different. Obviously things like glute bridges, I'm not loading a heavy barbell across my hips. I might do the booty blaster where it's got the seatbelt strap, and I kind of move it more towards my thighs, so kind of like adjusting placement and position on certain exercises. Even things like squats and split squats, when I go really deep and my hips are in more flexion, my belly kind of like hits my thighs, so it's a little weird. And I know that's only gonna get more and more during pregnancy as my belly starts to get bigger. But it's been kind of just like an interesting process to start to feel that. But other than that, my workouts feel really good. I did establish one goal for myself workout-wise during pregnancy. My general goal workout-wise is to just be consistent and do what feels right for my body. But a specific goal I had was to continue to be able to do at least one pull-up, even at like the last possible moment of my pregnancy. So if, let's say I've added 30 pounds, I've gained 30 pounds, it's like doing a 30-pound weighted pull-up, which I've never really done weighted pull-ups. Plus, my body's gonna be a little bit weaker just because I've not been lifting the same. So that'll be interesting. I've tried to keep up with doing my pull-ups at least once a week. So sometimes I'll do neutral grip, underhand grip, overhand. Earlier this week, I tried to go overhand. The first set, I think I got 7 or 6, which is pretty good. And then my strength tapered off so much. So by my 3rd or 4th set, I can't remember how many I did, I was like getting 3.5. So it's already getting tougher. It'll only get tougher, but that's kind of is going to be my goal during pregnancy is to try to see if I can still maintain the strength to do at least one pull-up at the end. I'm curious, those of you guys who are watching this who have been pregnant, who've had kids, what have your fitness goals during pregnancy been, if anything at all? And I know it's not necessarily the time you want to be like setting any kind of crazy PRs, but maybe it's, you know, adding in more walks throughout the day or doing a prenatal yoga class or something like that. I'm just kind of curious. Also to help me give me ideas of some things to add in. As I mentioned in the last video on Thursdays, I do my check-ins. Previously, before I was pregnant, I was doing check-ins with my coach on Thursdays, and Thursdays are the days that I move to my next week of pregnancy. So on Thursdays, I've been weighing myself, I've been doing my waist circumference, and I've been doing pictures. So here's kind of what my pictures have looked like from, you know, I could kind of backtrack from when I found out I was pregnant to like, even when I didn't know I was pregnant, like 1 week pregnant, 2 weeks pregnant, which those of you guys who understand how pregnancy works, sometimes, you know, during those first few weeks, you aren't even actually pregnant yet. But here I am kind of from week 1 through week 19 of pregnancy. So you guys can kind of see how the evolution of my posing has gone.
Took a bite and now I'm filled up. I don't know where you are tonight. Cause you're right, I've been starving and now I don't know what to do tonight. But I've been feeling like you're pretty easy to like. When your body is closer to mine, you got me feeling like there's no one other than you who can make me lose my mind. You start me up like no one has ever could. You fuel my fire. What are the odds we end up loving this? Spending every minute together. I found it quite odd, quite lovely. You start me up like no one has ever could. You fuel my fire.
So I think it's kind of fun to be able to track those progress pictures, if you will, throughout the weeks. I'm probably this week is going to be the last week I'll be able to wear my bikini bottoms. Like I said last time, I don't want to stretch them out. They're expensive and I don't want to ruin them. So I'll probably stop wearing those in my posing pictures. Posing also definitely feels weird because everything through here is so tight. Those of you guys who compete know when you're posing for bikini, a lot of it is being able to kind of like lengthen from your rib cage to your pelvis, both when you're facing front or kind of sideways, as well as when you're facing back. So I can't really pose, but for the sake of consistency, I'm kind of posing in them. So it's been fun to track that. Weight-wise, honestly, I've gained about like 11 pounds, 12 pounds since kind of pre-pregnancy. So I guess that's kind of a normal healthy range. My doctor doesn't seem concerned one way or another with it. I just weigh myself once a week for consistency purposes. I feel pretty good, but you know, that added 11, 12 pounds makes a difference when I'm working out, doing things like pull-ups, even just walking around a little bit. I start to notice it some. And obviously as I move into the second half of pregnancy and the baby physically starts to grow and take up more space, that'll continue to grow even more. But overall, I'm feeling really, really good. Like I said, nutrition's been pretty consistent to what I would normally eat if I were in an off season and not pregnant, where it's a little flexible, like if I want ice cream, like I said, or if I want like a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, or if I want to go out to dinner, I'll do that. But most of my diet is primarily protein, veggies, waffles for breakfast. But it's been relatively consistent to what an off-season diet would be for me. And then, you know, obviously as pregnancy continues, we'll see how and if that changes at all. Workouts have felt much, much better now, other than some physical restrictions of like my belly physically changing and my stability, especially through my hips. Other than that, I feel pretty energized. I feel good. By no means am I the strongest I've ever been, but I'm feeling pretty good during my workouts, which I'll take. I try to continue to stay active every day, so my goal is to close all the rings on my Apple Watch, so at least 12 hours of standing a day, which that happens every day no matter what. And then exercise goal of 30 minutes of an elevated heart rate, and then a caloric burn for me. I have my watch set at 6:15, so hitting that every day, even on days that I'm not at work or specifically working out. And then other than that, just staying really hydrated. It's summer in Washington, D.C. Today, I think the heat index is like 103, 104. So it is very hot here. So making sure I'm staying hydrated with that. I've noticed like changes in my skin a little bit, like primarily my lips. Again, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that the other week, where I was saying like my lips almost feel like they're sunburned, like they're really, really dry and swollen feeling. And so, you know, my first thought is to make sure I'm staying overly hydrated, so drinking a ton of extra water. But people had also said during pregnancy, you know, you should just be hypersensitive to the sun. So maybe I wasn't necessarily laying out, but I was walking the dogs outside and didn't have SPF chapstick on. And so maybe they did actually get burnt, and I just didn't really realize it. But other than that, overall, things are feeling really good. I want to continue to do these check-ins. I think it's just kind of a fun way to track a slightly different goal and changes in progress over time. I'd love to hear if there's any other suggestions that you guys have that you'd like to see in these videos. Again, I really like to share the workouts that I'm doing, but if you guys want to see anything else, I'll gladly share that with you. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram already, my Instagram is at Virginia V. Kinkle. I'll link that right here just so you guys can follow me there. I post stuff daily on there. But yeah, I'd love to hear in the comments section if there's anything else you guys want to know about. If you guys like these videos of kind of following along with my pregnancy and you want to continue to follow along, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. That way I can kind of know you guys are liking these and I'll continue to track along. But other than that, the next time you see me, I will probably have a much bigger belly. All right, bye guys, thanks.